All right, students. So I think this one here, it's a nice activity, especially when you're trying to work on your project. Make sure you're able to do this activity. The goal here is just to find the exact quadratic equation that matches a picture, which is so similar to your project where you're finding the exact quadratic equation that matches a video. And so, first thing is just looking at the different forms. You are in the project asked to use all three different forms, although usually there's one form that's easier to start with, and then you can use algebra to get the other two forms. Or you can approach it and find all three of them separately, whichever way makes sense. So, standard form looks like this, and the thing about the standard form is that you can see the y intercept. Because if you plug in x equals 0, ax squared and bx become 0. And so you're left over with the y-intercept as c. In vertex form, kind of unsurprisingly, you can see that the vertex is h comma k. Please pay close attention that it says x minus h, but it says plus k. Please pay attention to that fact right there. Then, when you look at factored form, similar sort of idea, you can see that it says x minus m, and that tells you that this is one of your x-intercepts, and it says x minus n, and that's one of your other x-intercepts. So these are the two x-intercepts, m comma 0 and n comma 0, because those values would make the equation the y value equals 0. So now we're going to play around and make some pictures. First couple slides, you're doing slides. You're using the sliders here to try to make it work. First thing I notice here is that I need a negative a value because that's how bridges look. So let's try doing negative 0.1. The b value is going to move it in all kinds of interesting ways, left and right, basically. And the c value is going to move it up and down. So if I do this, this is pretty close. Let me put the b value back at 0. And it looks actually like I even need a smaller a value. So I might try to do 0.01. That's too much. 0.05. Hey, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect because technically bridges aren't perfect parabolas, but they're pretty darn close. So that graph looks pretty good to me. And I got there just by messing around with the a and the c value. In Barcelona, we have water shooting in the air. I actually saw this fountain back in 2012. So let's try to make it match up with one of them. And this should end up being perfect because it's water flying through the air. So let's do something like this. That's getting close. Maybe make the a value a little steeper. Let's try to slide you a little left. Slide you a little left. Almost. I'm trying to get that one right there. I think I need to move this a little bit. It's kind of hard to see exactly with the different. That looks pretty dang good. So obviously you'll get different equations depending on which arc of water you're trying to do. Um, Notice as well that the a value is negative to make it a concave down curve. That was in factored form. Here we've got vertex form. Again, I need it to be concave down. I'm going to move the h value to 2 because that's where the vertex of this right arch is. And then the k value, I should pop it up to 4. That looks okay. If I want to do the outer arch, I guess I need a little bit less a little smaller of an a value to make it wider. There you go. So it's not perfect. It gets a little steeper there, but that's one way to get one of the golden arches with a parabola. Same idea with the roller coaster. So now what you're going to do in these next couple slides is actually just solve for it by hand instead of using the sliders. So I'm going to do this one because this is very similar to like what you could do on your project. So what I'm noticing is that it looks to me like the vertex is at about 0, 2. So I can type in a times x minus 0, which I guess is redundant, squared plus 2. And then I want to find where I want to find another point on the curve. And so it looks to me like I could use this point right here we'll call this like 6 comma 0. And we'll adjust it if it's not perfect, but we'll try 6 comma 0. And so when I try substituting that in, I'd say 0, because that's the y value, equals a times 6 minus 0 squared plus 2. So 0 equals a times 6 squared plus 2. 0 equals a times 36 plus 2. Take away 2. And then divide by 36, and we'll see what we get. So I'm going to try a equals negative 2 over 36, which you could reduce or you could write as a decimal. But there we go. Let me clear the screen so we can kind of look at it. That's pretty close. Maybe I would slide it up a tiny bit to kind of go through a little bit more of the motorbike guy. So maybe trying 2.5 instead. That looks pretty dang good. So that's the idea on this activity. Please play around with it, get good at it, and comment, ask questions if you need anything. Thanks for watching.